This woman here. Leilani Simon. This is Leilani Simon, who is either the most misunderstood woman on planet Earth or perhaps the most evil. Who is she? If you may recall, she has been charged with very bad things. A mother accused of killing her toddler and dumping his body in a dumpster at a Savannah mobile home park was arraigned Thursday morning. You may remember her. This is the video we talked about. This is the case we talked about and showed the video of the people literally raking through the landfill trying to find this woman's toddler. She's saying she had nothing to do with it, accusing people of it being a witch hunt. Her mother is sitting right next to her the whole time, crying, and they're begging for the safe return all the while. She allegedly knew this baby was dead. Dressed in a floral top, black slacks, and face mask, Leilani Simon, 23, was joined by a team of 3 defense attorneys. This is her son. Simon faces 19 counts, including malice murder, felony murder, and concealing the death of another in the October 22 death of 20-month-old son Quentin. When escorted into the courtroom, Simon was cuffed and stared directly at a news camera that was set up as she walked to the defense table. The hearing began shortly after 9 when Judge Tammy Stokes ruling that cameras wouldn't be allowed to film Thursday's hearing despite objections from the state and defense. After issuing the ruling, the judge heard arguments for bond. Simon's attorney argued that she should be released because she's from Savannah, stayed in town when she was still considered a person of interest, and because there's a Department of Family and Children's Services case plan in place. Assistant Public Defender Caitlin Walker said that it was Simon's hope to reunite with her other 2 children, a 9-month-old girl and a 4-year-old boy. The state responded with a 9-page pre-filed response arguing against Simon's release. Ultimately, Judge Stokes denied bond, saying that Simon was still considered a flight risk. Leilani Simon waived her right to a formal reading of the charges against her and pleaded not guilty. Quentin Simon reported missing from his Buckhalter Road home on October 5th, 2022. Roughly 6 weeks later, his remains were discovered at a landfill. Noticeably absent from today's hearing was Simon's mother, who appeared before Judge Stokes during a hearing on Friday to turn over several notebooks and writings belonging to her daughter. Her defense team is trying to have the murder charges thrown out, saying in a filing Monday that a grand jury was not presented with enough information to make an informed decision. They're also trying to quash 4 false statement counts. A hearing will be scheduled later. So that's where we stand there. She has been held without bond. She's been denied bond, and she's going to stay in jail until this happens, until the trial. And got to say, this is a hard one to say, keep an open mind about. But that's a rough one. And if we want, let's. Oh, I'm debating whether or not to do this. All right. Let's watch it's 7 minutes long. This is the arraignment hearing. Let's see.
Turn to the issue of bond. Mr. Dean, I have received your request for restriction of certain information. The court has reviewed it. If there's anything you'd like to say, well, first is the defense's motion. Ms. Walker.
Just briefly, of course, Ms. Simon was born and raised here locally. She is 23 years old. Speaking to the statutory factors, just briefly, Your Honor, we would say to the court that she is not a flight risk, 1, because she lives here, 2, because throughout this investigation, she remained here locally, knowing that she was a person of interest in this investigation.
Yeah, I disagree.
Presently under a fast case plan, which I will not get into the details of, other than to say that she has every incentive to remain in this county pursuant to that plan in order to reunite with the children, and certainly that would be her hope, Your Honor. She is also not a threat or a danger to an individual or a community because as a result of that case plan, she will be monitored and supervised at a very intense level by people who have a high level of safety. So concerns that the court may have based on the allegations in this indictment should be factored in related to that case plan judge, and that she's not at risk of committing felony because she has no felony history and has reviewed incident charges for Your Honor. And finally, that there's no evidence that she would have the ability or desire to intimidate any potential witnesses. Simply being related to some of the witnesses in this case does not rise to the level of that concern, Your Honor. And so for all of those reasons, we would be asking the court to adopt essentially what the defects case plan is. We'd be happy to provide a copy of that to the court if the court is so inclined to grant bond so that the court could conform its order to the defects case plan. It's our position that there are provisions therein such as drug treatment, et cetera, which will support her while she would be on the outside. Furthermore, Judge, that we have a location for her to live that is safe, is out of county. And as the court knows, this has been a very highly investigated and focused upon case in media and social media. And so we would not provide that address to the court for fear about Ms. Simon's safety. As the court knows, she has been harassed by various members of the public who knew her prior address. And so we're very concerned about her safety should she be released. And we'd be happy to provide that to the court, but certainly not in a court.
Thank you, Ms. Walker.
Thank you.
Mr. Dean.
Your Honor, as the court has referenced yesterday afternoon, I emailed the court the state's 9-page response to petition for bond, which I then filed with the court and served on the defense this morning. They were, of course, copied on the email version yesterday. In that filing, which will be restricted because it contains sensitive information that ought not be released, I believe that the state has both preemptively responded pretty conclusively to some of the arguments just articulated by counsel, and also made certain other factual and legal arguments about the defendant's unsuitability for pre-trial release in this case. And with that, I will rest on the written filing.
All right, thank you. In consideration of the information that's been submitted from the defendant from the state, the court will deny bond based on the risk that she would commit a felony while on bond and there's risk of flight as well. So with that, I would deny. Thank you. Now, let's move into arraignment at this point.
Okay, now let's go to the, are we guilty or not guilty?
And Your Honor, if we may, we'll come to the podium, but our intention today is to ask, rather than for arraignment, because we believe there's some conflict in the case law as to whether or not entering arraignment today would waive the demurrers that she filed. Of course, the court is aware we filed 2 demurrers. One is a special demurrer as to counts 1, 2, 3 of this indictment, and a general demurrer as to counts 10, 12, 14, and 17. So we'll be asking for today so the court will simply set us down for a motion date where we can address those issues with the indictment, and then we would move forward with arraignment on that date, of course, so inclined.
Court will do that. Motions hearings will be scheduled soon, and we'll set aside time to address the several issues that as well as other motions as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Turning now to arraignment. Ms. Walker, does your client waive formal reading of the indictment?
Well, Judge, I think if we may be doing that at that motion hearing, we can do it all together. We're just concerned about waiving for arguments as to demurrers that we've already filed, so we could move forward with arraignment.
Okay, so she doesn't want all 19 charges against her read in court.
What the court is willing to do is preserve your right to demur at this point. I would like to move forward with
Okay,
arraignment.
absolutely, Your Honor. And yes, so we would waive formal reading of the indictment. And Ms. Simon would be entering her plea of not guilty on the case and demanding a jury trial, but of course we have motions hearings to come.
Very, very true.
Well, that's really all we need for that. She doesn't get a bond. She's still considered a flight risk, And that was her lawyer entering a not guilty plea on her behalf.